I think there is no other composer who, of all the great composers of the last centuries, who looked so much back than Brahms did. This is the one side. He worked in the libraries and studied the old Italian polyphony of Gabrieli, and he studied the French music around Couperin, and he made editions, very, very musicologist editions of French music, and he discussed with Grisander the Handel edition, and he himself was in charge of the edition of Schubert's symphonies. So he was very much interested in history. But on the other hand, he used all this knowledge as a source of inspiration for his new music. I would not call him an avant-garde modernist, but his ideas, especially rhythmic ideas, were very far apart from everything else, and his mastering of harmony was very, very modern, very on top of his time. I studied the sources, I studied the score, then his corrections, and the old parts, orchestra parts in Vienna and in Berlin of the last century. So I have a lot of information how they wanted to perform it, and then I have to find out how I want to perform it, because I don't want to repeat just the first performance of 18-something. We have to find out the reason why this music has to be performed still, and how it should be performed. And so it is necessary that we are not glued on our petrified opinions of a time for which those opinions were all right, but they cannot be all right for all the following times. So we have to change with the going on of time. I'm very happy that I can do it with the Berlin Philharmonic, because it is the Brahms orchestra practically in the world. I think it's the orchestra with the oldest Brahms tradition, maybe the Vienna orchestra also, but the Berlin orchestra feels very much more centered around Brahms and the second half of the 19th century than the Vienna orchestra. And they have a very, very old tradition of Brahms playing, and playing German Romantic. And when I did the Freischütz in Berlin, which belongs to Berlin, I think, I felt that it would be great to do the Brahms symphonies with this orchestra. And it is very interesting for me to work with the orchestra who played the symphonies every year, on and on and on, lots of times, to try to rethink the whole. It's very interesting, I think, also for the orchestra, to rethink a thing which you're always doing. And now, again, question, why are we doing it so and not so? And what did the composer want? What is just a habit which is very well established and which came from very, very frequent performances? Maybe like no other composer of his generation, Brahms came from his own music making on the piano, with friends playing violin and cello, with Joachim, and to have the chamber music, the string quartets, but the piano chamber music with himself in the center. And I think there's no other part of his compositions more inspiring than his chamber music. The double concerto, if it's not played like chamber music, it goes far away from the ideas of Brahms. Also the instrumentation of great parts of this are influenced by chamber music. They must listen to each other. They must not be stars who just show what they can do on their instruments. It's very, very important that they are really playing chamber music. I played it with my wife when we were teenagers. I think 19 years old both, or I more than she. and it was one of our very personal pieces of music. We whistled the theme of the second movement when we met somewhere, and the whole piece was really emotional, very much connected to our relation and to our wedding and to our first part of the marriage.